11 years ago, I sat down and I booted up The Binding of Isaac Rebirth on my PS4 for the first time. And today, I'm interviewing its developer. Hello and welcome to the Indie Piece Podcast. This is a new podcast hosted by me, Olexa, where we are going to be diving into two topics that I love: content creation and indie gaming. The idea of the podcast is simple. This is not just another podcast made by a mid to late 20-year-old white male where I talk about my life experiences and self-improvement and occasionally crack some bad jokes about the government currently in the US. This is going to be a podcast where hopefully I'm not doing much talking because we are going to be interviewing some really, really incredible people. We're going to be having on game developers, content creators, and anybody else I can get my hands on to talk about their careers, how they came to do what they do, what gets them passionate, what makes them tick, and really dive into their thought process and how they go through life. I'm really excited for this one. This is a passion project that I've been working on for a while and something that I'm excited to do periodically. I have no schedule for these. My hope is to do it about monthly, but if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I want to talk to amazing people and have incredible conversations, and that's exactly what we are going to do today. I'm talking with Edmund McMillen, the creator of The Binding of Isaac, The End Is Nigh, Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, and now Mewgenics. That's Mewgenics, Mewgenics. Just want to make that very clear. And we're going to talk to Ed about what process he's gone through to develop Mewgenics, what makes it similar to The Binding of Isaac while being very different, and why this ends up being what could be the magnum opus of his career. But before we get into that conversation, I actually had the opportunity to interview somebody very close to Ed, Matthias Bossi, one half of the band Ridiculon, who makes all of the music for Edmund McMillen games and is making the soundtrack for Mewgenics. This is also the guy who you can hear at the beginning of The Binding of Isaac when he goes, "Isaac and his mother lived alone on a small house on the hill." So it was amazing to tie these two together and see how their lives have connected and really unfold who Ed is as a person through somebody that has known him for many, many years. It was an awesome conversation, and I hope you enjoy. So, I guess to start out, tell everybody who you are, just so that everybody is kind of aware of where you're coming from with the background here.
Okay, hi, my name is Matthias Bossi. I'm one half of Ridiculon, a music writing machine that has scored quite a few video games, especially for Ed McMillen, Isaac, and The End Is Nigh, The Legend of Bumbo, now Mewgenics. We work also, Super Meat Boy and various sort of sequels in the last 10 years or so. And I'm a drummer. I play keys. I sing a bit. I do some voice acting. And, I'm an old friend of Ed McMillen's, which is how I got wrapped up into all this nonsense in the first place.
I love it. So how long have you known Ed at this point?
At this point, well, he was a fan of my old band, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, which was sort of this weird, like, Dadaist cabaret metal circus band from the San Francisco Bay Area. And Ed and his girlfriend, now his wife, Danielle, were huge fans. We would always go down and play Santa Cruz, where he's from, either at the Catalyst or this other place called The Attic. And, I knew Ed back when he was cultishly famous, in his early, pre-Meat Boy years. He would be out at the shows and they would make weird things for the band. And, he was just a really smart, super creative, and honestly kind of shy dude who loved my band. So obviously things changed for him in 2010, as everyone knows. Yeah. But also, he just kind of reached out to me out of the blue in 2011, I guess it would have been, after the success of Meat Boy. He, rather than, buying jet skis and mansions and flamethrowers and stuff. He wanted to make another game. He's restless and creative and intensely driven, as I think people have been discovering. And he's like, hey, I got this weird game, I'm just like more or less jamming on it with this French guy. And, I want you to be the narrator for it. This was long before he even asked me to like write music for him. So actually the first ever thing I worked on for Ed with my now business partner and writing partner, John Evans, was a rando one-off voiceover session for the original Flash Isaac, where I did the Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill, and then, well, I guess the rest they say is history. Then I convinced John, who was merely just sort of an acquaintance at that point, to move back here to the East Coast from California, sell his business and his house and his wife's business, and come here to where there's literally nothing going on. And then I was like, surprise, we should do something cool. I don't know what it is. Do we start a jingle house? I don't know what. So, but then all of a sudden, with the success of Flash Isaac and with the success of Meat Boy, Ed just reached out, and he was still working with Tommy at the time. And he's like, hey, you guys, we're doing this wacky new game, which at that point is very different than the game that is about to come out on February 10th. It's like this cat sim battling game. Everyone who's been submitting music for this, it's not working. Can you guys do something super organic and retro and not in the box, And we submitted a couple songs, which sort of became the iconic theme song for Mewgenics. And, that's more or less the first thing we ever worked on for Ed. Fast forward, 15 years almost at this point, that version of that game and the creative team fell apart. Then Isaac Rebirth and all the various DLC came about. And, we became known as like the metal guys that worked for Ed. And I think people are going to be shocked when they hear that the music of Mewgenics is super goofy and really like jazzy and retro and kind of like kitschy, which is really more what John and I are all about. We're just total dorks who also went to music school, who also always played in heavy bands, who can go in any direction. But when pressed, when we are flayed open and our actual souls revealed, like this music from Mewgenics is who we are. So I'm excited for people to see that. Anyway, that's the sort of longish cliff notes. I see Ed once a year, maybe once every 2 years. We talk via Discord, or it used to be Skype, which is rip Skype, man. I'll miss you.
Rest in peace. Yep.
But we are very creatively aligned. We have, over the last 15 years at this point, developed this weird third language that is the result of trained musicians and artists trying to find common ground. He's not a trained musician, but he knows what he wants, and he speaks in this very interesting patois, which is not quite classical harmony or musical theory or whatever, but we always know, at least we know now at this point, what he wants. He's a huge music fan. We have shared interests in terms of what sets our heart ablaze in terms of genres. And, we have an awesome working relationship. He is a tough boss, but it always, in the end, it always works out. It's been the best thing for my belief in myself, for my ego, or the death of my ego, I guess I should say. He is really unfiltered and super direct. And maybe that doesn't work for everyone, but for me, being from New England, I just love it. Yeah. Like, he just cuts right to it. And he's like, this is horrible. I have a lot of this is horribles in my life from Ed. But when he pushes for something and there's like a 9th or 10th or 11th edit of a thing where he has heard the seed of something that's working, that 11th version that makes it into the game, it's awesome. And to his credit, he would just push and push and push until it was right, So I love working with him. He's become a great friend, and I'm super happy to see that this game, Mewgenics in particular, he's just also aligned himself with some really motivated, super creative individuals within games that are just putting wind in his sails. I know it's stressful and everything, but I've been through the dev process with him, and the guy's on fire. Yeah. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna say Mewgenics. I come from a background of a lot of Binding of Isaac, right? Like that. Sure. That was the game that I was fanboying and geeking out a little as you did the Isaac intro there. That was a weird full circle moment of my life that just happened on this call. But I come from a big Isaac background. That's how I really got my main start on YouTube. And I firmly believe that as great as Isaac is, it feels like Mewgenics is kind of the magnum opus coming up. Like it feels like it's been leading to this all time.
Yeah. Well, Ed is the lore master, man. He's not going to be able to help himself.
Oh yeah.
Ed's brain and Ed's stories, it's all just one big thing, right? So, yeah, I feel it too, in the same way where, maybe everything is leading to this moment. He has poured his heart and soul into this, to the world, to the characters, I know Ed's a really funny guy too. This game is funny as hell, man. We went down a dark alley for a bunch of years in recent years with Isaac, with The End Is Nigh, with Bumbo. This shit is dark and cute, but it's really funny, man. This game is comedy gold.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to back up for a second because you kind of talked briefly about how you and Ed really met. Can you put like a year time frame on that? How long have you guys known each other?
I would say 20 years at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably the mid-aughts, between 05 and 07, I would say.
Gotcha. So this is kind of that's pre-Meat Boy, and any of the big hits that Ed had.
Yeah.
You've you've seen that success throughout the past 20 years. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh no. I think Ed has alluded to the various jobs that he had, like working at GameStop, or I think he was even like a dog catcher at some point. I have no idea what he was doing at the time that I first met him, but I do remember his like beat to shit old Toyota pickup truck that he would drive around in.
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, he has lived it, man. He is like. I think you can see it, and if you at all watch Indie Game, just where he came from, and just the mountains that he climbed to get where he is. It's
an excellent watch for sure.
It's an excellent watch. It's kind of like a great American story, man. I gotta say,
the American dream, the American indie gaming dream. Yep.
Yeah, for real. So whatever small part I play in that, I'm so grateful to him for his friendship and trust. He keeps coming back to the well to hang out with me and have me write music for him. So I got to pinch myself, man. It's really cool because here I am on the edge of nowhere. People don't know what I do here in my small, quiet, provincial seaside life. They mostly just think I drink coffee and ride my bicycle and drive my kids to school.
Sounds okay, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. But meanwhile, I get to feel like I'm part of something big and worldly, and just like connected to elsewhere purely because of my relationship with Ed and the people that he's introduced me to. And frankly, just the human beings playing his games all across the planet. It's really cool.
And hey, let's not downplay the fact that the soundtrack for all of these games is a big reason for their success. Like,
I appreciate
you're pumping out incredible music that people flock to the games to hear. So
I appreciate it. Well, I hope that trend continues with Mewgenics.
I've already heard some, and I know it will.
On my mind, I'm so hungry now, I'm gonna chase 'em, grab 'em, fry.
I think it has the chance to be every bit as iconic as Isaac, you know, of that fully realized world. My real dream is to, you know, have this music become a Broadway show. I mean, that's what I want.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that's really that's my dream. I'm just going to go ahead and push that out into the universe. I mean, we have written. I mean, there's got to be over. I mean, it's way too much for a musical, but there's over 50 songs in this soundtrack. You know, we'd have to, you know, obviously work closely with Ed and some other writers to come up with a narrative arc. But man, I mean, wait, there's so much music in this game, so many fun vocalists, and so many great arrangements, and yeah, it's really a trip around the world. So I'm really excited and sad, and like, what's going to happen? Is it a cliff, or am I getting a paraglider and just sailing off into the golden sunset? I don't know, but it's come. February 10th is coming, man.
So I guess that's a great question for you. Is there an anxiety around the release of these games?
Only in the sense that I have never had a real job. And that just means I'm going to have to be pounding the pavement looking for more work so I can pay the rent.
Understood.
Although it's interesting. I'm like the Ridiculon world. Like I'm trying to pump up our YouTube world. Like I'm actually actively posting there now. So I'm seeing that as a way to maybe engage and you know, dig into the archive, have people peek behind the curtain a little bit as to how we write things. And so, you know, I'm trying to be a little more proactive within the valleys of our self-employed life. You know, on the other side of this more like in your face video game persona that we have created, John and I also score a bunch of podcasts and documentaries, more mellow ambient music for people to talk over. You know, we like disappear into the wallpaper. So it's not like I'm going to be on the street, but a game of this magnitude, first of all, it's going to be exciting because people will get to hear the music, and I'm psyched about that, to have it up on the streaming sites and to have it on our Bandcamp page and some fun kind of bespoke merch associated with it. And
yeah, I can't wait to experience it. I think it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good.
And I've been excited to see Ed putting himself out there, you know, like getting the hype train rolling on the press. You know, it's really fun. It's like he's pounding the pavement, man. It's very rewarding, and it is paying dividends. I think people are really genuinely psyched about this, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I won't deny it. I'm out here capitalizing on some of the press that he's been doing, and getting him on here to chat about Mewgenics and just life in general as I, you know, kind of start this podcast on my side. In wrapping up here, it's been great to kind of dive in and get your guys' background. Just a simple question for you. If you had to pick out a favorite memory with him, whether it's something that you people wouldn't know about you guys or about Ed, or something that you at least think he'd be okay talking about, what is that favorite memory? Is it a project that you guys worked on? Well, I guess, what's your favorite project that you guys worked on together? Give me those little inside nuggets of info that I can bring up to him and shock him a little when you bring it up.
Sure. Well, I mean, I have to say Mewgenics by such a long shot is my favorite thing I've worked on him with him on. Yeah, just the freedom that he allowed us, the trust, the pushing further and further, more daring, more sort of controversial. You know, I mean, people who expect Ed to do jaw-dropping things will be even more jaw-dropped on this one, I would say. He's incredibly generous. He reminds me a lot of my own father, who was very shy and aloof. But when you were in his castle, if you went to him and got to hang with him, it was the best. It was warm and inviting and super relaxing and chill, just nothing awkward. I mean, like I alluded to before, Ed and I maybe see each other once a year, maybe. But every time we do, it's just like, it's old pals, man. I mean, who knows what our relationship would be like if I lived in Santa Cruz and I was like seeing him every day. I don't think that would work. I'm too high strung, man. But it works. So the distance, man, our 3,500-mile friendship is my favorite friendship I've ever had, without a doubt.
The heart grow fonder, right?
It does, man. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I want to be doing this until I keel over dead, and I hope he does too. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm actually going out to California in a couple weeks, and I will have my yearly visit with Ed.
That is exciting. That is very exciting to hear.
Long live Ed McMillen.
High praise for sure. Matthias, thank you so much for your time. Excited to see Mewgenics and listen to the soundtrack throughout it. We'll be definitely playing through and having a good listen on my channel for sure. So thank you so much. I
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keep the hype train rolling, man.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Oh, spread thin.
Well, God, I gotta say, Ed, it's been like 5 years since we did the little talk on long? Repentance, which is insane. I looked up the video and I was like, oh, that was a hot minute ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, my youngest must have just been born around that time. I think around Repentance launch.
That's absolutely crazy. So how is the family? Everybody good, healthy?
Crazy. Yeah, everyone's healthy. Mentally healthy, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, who is at this point?
Relative, right?
Yep. It's good to hear. Very good.
They're all as normal as we are.
Oh, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. You still doing? I know we talked a little bit about sea glass collecting last time. I used to love when you were posting on Twitter all the kind of collections that you would have, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Is that still something you've kept up with?
It got derailed by I think it was the baby. I mean, realistically, like you can't track a baby onto a beach.
Harder, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was like a few years of we can't do any of this sort of stuff, and then when we came back to it, the kids their eyes is kind of glaze over when it comes to sea glass finding.
Yeah.
But we started going to like low tides where there were like tide pools and stuff. And they got really excited about that. So we started to go to that. And then that became, hey, let's get an aquarium and fill it with just local sea life, because that's really easy because you don't need to like order anything for their food. You just go get a bucket of water, go down to a pier and fill it up. So we've been doing that for the past 2 years. We have done some sea glassing, but maybe only like once or twice a year. But it's mostly filling the tank full of exotic local anomalies, a lot of weird slugs and eels and stuff like that.
That's actually really cool. So stuff just like grows and you don't really have to, like, do you feed it or anything? Like, yeah,
we feed it.
Okay.
Yeah. We get bloodworms. Mostly everyone feeds off the bloodworms and seaweed. So every month I'll go to a dock, like a local dock.
Yeah.
And like, there's usually some seaweed that's growing off of a dock. I'll chop off the seaweed where the holdfast is. I stick it in there, and then all the snails and, vegetarian animals will eat the seaweed, and then we will just get worms and whatever we can find from tide pools, like pile worms and stuff like that, and feed them to the fish, and then supplement with red worms, bloodworms, and whatever worms we can find, really.
Oh, that's actually really interesting. That's really cool.
I mean, they eat bait.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, which
that's what
makes
they eat.
sense. It definitely makes
Yeah.
sense. Any other like I guess hobbies that you've kept up with? I know that you're
Yeah.
a busy guy, so it's
No,
I know how hard it is to have hobbies. But it's I always find it interesting, kind of tapping
in that,
into those little things that make people passionate
yeah.
about living, right?
Yeah, the latest is pinball. That's
Okay,
been about 3 years. Hyper focus of pinball. We have too many machines to count. We have over 20 machines.
that's
That we've
crazy.
collected over the years. Yeah,
Do you have
and
a favorite pinball machine?
yeah, Twilight Zone's probably my favorite pinball machine.
Uh,
It's such a classic.
That sounds sick.
Um, I mean, I don't know if you know. I mean, if you get into pinball, but yeah, Twilight Zone's is a unique machine with a lot of. It's very busy. It's a wide body machine too, so there's like more space than the normal machine, and they really crammed it full of toys. So it's a visually appealing machine, but I really like it because every machine has a different design. And a lot
Yeah,
of people don't even know that because a lot of people don't play pinball. But there's usually goals in a pinball design, and some of them are as simple as like one like Adam's Family is you're always trying to light up Fester and then feed the ball into the scoop in order to travel through the house. So like there's a light that goes through this mansion. It's like on it's a HUD essentially on the board, and it lights up these different rooms, and each room is a new challenge. So it's like you enable a challenge, the challenge starts, and the challenge is like, hit as many switches, they call them switches, anything you can hit that registers something in the machine. Hit as many switches as possible, and it racks up a crazy high score. And then there's one that called like treasure hunt or whatever, and you have to hit all the scoops. So anything that could like grab the ball and hold the ball, you have to fire in all the scoops. And if you can do that, and it's always a time limit. And those are goal-oriented machines, and if you're able to complete them all or tour the mansion in Adam's Family, you'll do a wizard mode, and it's this special, very rarely seen, unless you're pretty skilled, reward for doing something very hard in this game, and then it loops. And every machine is totally different of how they kind of approach that, and I really, really like it. And the thing that makes Twilight Zone really interesting is it's a game that plays kind of almost roguelike-y. I mean, pinball is random, and it always randomizes itself each time you play, but you can pivot. So if you're like, oh, I'm going for cameras right now, or I'm going to try to get the Powerball, which is like locking a bunch of balls in order to get this special ball that you can get a multi-ball with. It's very satisfying, and the amount of little mini modes in the game is bigger than all the other machines, and it's really, and the theme is of course cool too. But
yeah.
at this point, I'm playing pinball for the gameplay, and not some. The last one that I bought is called The Shadow. Do you even know what that is? That movie, The Shadow.
I have no idea what The Shadow is.
I never saw it. It's a crap like Batman type knockoff movie from the 90s.
Okay.
And no one cares about.
Okay.
But the pinball machine is really good.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of these weird, like we have Baywatch, which is kind of cool in a way now because it's so cheeseball, but it's really fun. Like there's a lot of these like really terrible IPs that have really good pinball machines. And the good thing is it makes them cheap when no one likes the IP.
Yeah, seriously. So like, are these new machines, or are you collecting like old? Is pinball popular again? Like, is
pinball
this is
huge.
very new to me. This
Yeah.
is very new to me.
It's niche, but it's new to you because they market to people that are my age or older.
Okay.
So if you're a 45-year-old man who has a disposable income and can drop 10K on something,
Yep.
As a toy, then this is your cup of tea.
Okay.
There's also people who play, tournaments and whatever else, but most people don't realize it. There's a high probability that if you live in a city with any kind of sizable population, there's one or even two pinball places.
There definitely are. There definitely are.
Yeah.
I have seen one before. In fact, I will tell you, my apartment building that I live in on the second floor, like tucked away in the corner for no reason that I can comprehend, they have a Aerosmith pinball machine. And every time I go by, it's like shouting, "Dude looks like a lady" at the worst volume that it can possibly do it. And I've stopped and I've played a couple of rounds at times because it's like this is the first time I've seen a pinball machine since I was like 4, and my grandpa had like a weird, like really shitty one that you got at Mark's probably that was like Monopoly themed, and I would play on that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to hear you as a pinball fanatic, but I think
I really like. I mean, I
thing.
really want to make an Isaac pinball machine. That's like my
I think
goal
that'd
right now.
be so cool.
And if I would have tried, like, if this was what COVID did was it blew up pinball, the home. So before, everybody would buy a pinball machine for an arcade, and that was mostly like a crapshoot because pinball machines in the arcades don't really make any money. Then they started to like lean into the home market, and around COVID, people started buying up pinball machines like crazy. And the value of a pinball machine, like before COVID, Adam's Family was probably worth about $5,000.
Okay.
This is a very sought after machine.
Gotcha.
People want this machine. It's hugely popular. It's from the 90s. And then COVID hit and it shot up to like $14,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And like even new pins, like the new pins that were coming out used to be $5,000 and now they're averaging at 10.
Wow.
You know, yeah, average new pin is like a $10,000 machine. And people just kept buying them. And there are new pinball machines coming out. Like I think like at least 10, 7 to 10 new pinball machines come out every year. Some of which are really huge. Like they just announced Beetlejuice and it sold out like within minutes of being out. And we're talking like huge, like probably like $12,000 machine, like a really souped up machine was already sold out. I couldn't even get to it.
What's the newest pinball machine you have?
Jaws.
Okay. What
Jaws
year?
50th anniversary. It's from last year.
Gotcha.
And then Metallica, the remake, was another recent one that I have.
So I'm assuming that they're kind of continuing to revolutionize it a bit, where there's different mechanics that are going into them as time goes on, or is it still keeping very true to like a core of pinball from many years ago?
I would say that they're trying to do. I think the current era of pinball are like designers that grew up playing in the 90s who really loved the exploration of design in those machines. And instead of going, hey, let's bells and whistles this and let's do gimmicks, they're leaning back and doing elegant design.
Gotcha.
Like, so you see more interesting takes off of existing ideas and more fun designs and flowy designs as opposed to gimmicks. Because in the 80s, pinball machines went through the totally jumping the shark, like crazy gimmicks, where it was like, this pinball machine's upside down and this pinball machine uses magnets and that like pull and push the ball around this one's head-to-head versus. They were just doing anything and everything to get people to like play pinball again, because everybody was just playing arcade games and pinball was losing in the 80s. And then it had the golden age of the 90s. Like it really came back with a vengeance, and that was like the best, in my opinion, by far, of pinball. Was like the early 90s of pinball was crazy. All the greatest pinball machines were made then. And then I would say just recently, the COVID era, you started to see a lot of crazy designs and things coming out of the woodwork. I mean, fucking Evil Dead 2 like came out a year ago, and it's making a lot of waves and is really crazy looking. And I ordered one and I'll be getting it in the end of the year. But
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, it's very alive.
Yeah. So is it something that you were into in the 90s, or is this a very new hobby for you?
No, it fell out of the sky. It was literally a friend of mine who worked at the boardwalk in Santa Cruz amusement park. He or she now retired from the boardwalk and had a bunch of machines that she kept, and she was trying to sell some to make some money for a project she was working on. And she was like, hey, I'm trying to sell my Addams Family, and here's the price. Are you interested?
The sought after machine.
Yeah, and the cause was so good. It was like this diabetes thing that they were working on, and I was like, it just seemed like, oh, I'll donate to the cause, and I have a feeling that my wife would be really into this too, and this is something we could get into together, because we play a lot of arcade stuff, and she also had a DDR machine and a few other things, and I purchased all those things from her, and I put them in my office, and we just kept fucking playing the machine.
That's
and
cool.
It was just, learning from that and being like, holy crap, like this is so much deeper than I'd ever imagined as a kid and way more fun than I had ever imagined. And once you get one, it's really hard to not want another one. And it just really, they multiplied like crazy. And I even have some around town, like not coin op, but like there's like a place in Santa Cruz. It's a pinball place that has like 16 machines or whatever, and they have 2 of my machines, and we trade out machines. Once you like get enough machines, you can stabilize by trading stuff out, do temporary trades, and it's fun.
Ah, that's cool. So how many machines do you have like at your place currently?
Let me just go through them. So downstairs in my office, I have a Funhouse, which people would know as this creepy doll. It looks like Slappy from Goosebumps.
Okay.
There's a creepy doll head that talks to you and like looks around. It's really weird.
Nice. Terrifying.
Cool.
Yeah.
So so Funhouse, Addams Family, Godzilla. Godzilla was a really big new one. So those are the 3 downstairs. And then in the garage, I've got Theater of Magic, Whitewater, Creature from the Black. Are you counting or am I?
I think we're at 6.
Okay. Creature. Okay. I said okay. Whitewater, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Twilight Zone, Monster Bash, Elvira Scared Stiff, Medieval Madness, The Big Lebowski, Walking Dead, Baywatch, Elton John, Metallica.
One of these things was not like the others. I'm just
I know.
Yep, I love it.
I have a friend who's very gay who loves that machine. But
I think that I think that is the best way you could possibly word that, and I think that would be my machine of choice if I entered your garage.
As a joke, I was like, okay, well, I mean, my friend's not that gay. He's as gay as you would be gay. He's gay, period. He's not flamboyantly gay. But I joked and I make fun of him about being gay. And I'm like, this is your machine, Elton John. And then he plays it, and that's all he plays when he comes over.
Beautiful.
He's quite good at it.
Beautiful.
But the light shows are over the fucking top. It's a beautiful machine.
I'm sure I can picture it. I can picture it in my head.
Shrek. That's a really sought after machine. Shrek.
Sure.
That's my wife's machine. Jaws, Dracula, The Shadow. How many's that?
I if I'm counting correctly, I believe that was 19, which adds up to
There's
about
also,
the 20 you said with the 2
there's
that
more.
are somewhere else. But
there's also Haunted House, which is a really cool old machine, and Circus Voltaire, which is a sought after machine that I'm mostly holding for trade. Those are the ones in my house. I also have Simpsons, Cactus Canyon, and Black Knight 2000 around town.
it's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting to all the people who are listening who don't give a fuck about what I'm talking about. I can also list magic cards that
I mean, look, man, it's a podcast. People are they're here to listen to our sundry voices, and if they don't like pinball, you know what? We're here to see what makes your brain tick. And I to be honest with you, I think it's very interesting, some of what you said about how the design of pinball became almost more simplified over the years from the kind of gimmicky that they used to do, where now it's going back to a very sleek design. And I think that goes perfectly as a segue into the idea of Mewgenics, right? Because here's a game that is a turn-based tactical top-down strategy game, which is something that has been attempted by hundreds, if not thousands, of developers at this point. But you're taking it and you're putting the Edmund McMillen twist on it, right? You're putting all of your design choices into it. And I think that I mean, that's where you shine as a developer is in the design component of it. So I think the connection between this and pinball kind of makes a lot of sense. At least that's what I'll say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Except pinball
Just
is
smile and nod, Ed.
Exactly. Good segue.
Good segue. Well, hey, I wanted to really quickly bring up. So in preparation for like this little interview, I'm doing a fun little thing where I'm going and I'm talking to people that are close to the people that I'm interviewing and kind of doing what we'll call a nice gossip about them. So I have already talked to your good friend Matthias from Ridiculon and talked with him a little bit just about your energy, your kind of what it's like having you as his quote unquote boss right now. And kind of your guys's. No, it's not. It's at the beginning of this podcast that you'll hopefully hear at some point, but nobody at this point nobody has heard about it. And it honestly it was awesome to sit down and talk with him because I had no idea that you guys were effectively just friends in the early 2000s and that it was just his band that had you guys meet.
Well, I'm flattered that he says friends, but really I was just a fan of his. He did not know who I was.
Well, let me tell you, as things expanded, he just could not speak enough about your kindness, your drive, one of the words he used was relentlessness, which I think is a really interesting word because relentless can be, I think a connotation of relentless can sometimes be negative, but I think that relentless is a very big positive in life. And it was a blast to talk with him a little bit about you and about Mewgenics and about the soundtrack that's coming from Mewgenics, which we've already heard so many of the pieces that are incredible, and I know there's even more that we haven't heard. So it was awesome as a nice little conversation, and I mean, what a nice guy, right?
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Like, there aren't many. I'm blessed with the amount of good people around me. I'd like to think that I curated them in some way, shape, or form, but I feel like everyone's kind of drawn. Similar, like-minded people are kind of drawn to one another for safety, and safety in numbers or something.
Definitely.
And I feel very, very safe and seen and understood by everyone around me, which is really crazy. Like beyond the game being good, my experience working with everybody that I've worked with on Mewgenics has been fun in a very, thank you, in a very like kind of intimate way, like where it's just a bunch of artists hanging out and we all get to riff off of one another, and there's never any bad feelings and like never problems, and everyone's just, I don't know, I'm very accepting of people and everything about them and understanding of people's limitations and strengths and taking everything taking it all as one unit and understanding that that's who this person is, and accepting and loving them for that. And that's the kind of vibe I feel like. It really feels like that, like everyone's just having a good time making something that I think we all feel is special, which is really cool. Like I was talking to Joey Kurz, who did all the sound effects of the game recently, and he was kind of asking about what's next, and if we need him for DLC. And I'm like, dude, like I don't ever want you to leave. Like, unless something is pulling you away that's better and more viable, we would love for you to stay. And he said that he's loved working on the project and that it feels like such a special thing, and that's why he really liked working on it. And I've heard it from like everyone, and it's really neat. Like it's neat to have this collective of people who kind of just like get it, and it's cool to have all those people around.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
I don't think it's a common thing. Like, you know, I have relatives that work in the industry, and it just does not sound like that
Yeah.
at all.
No, I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
I think that I'm sure there's a component of it that is you've done it many times before, right? I mean, looking at your history of making games at this point, you've seen what can go wrong, you've seen what can go right. And I feel like maybe there's a sense that since Mewgenics has been something that it's really been an idea in your brain. How long has Mewgenics been a thought and a
Rattling around.
concept? Yeah, rattling around up there,
Like the same time as Isaac.
which is crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
15 years ago at this point.
Yep.
So I feel like that it's one of those things where it comes down to passion, right? And it's when you're passionate about something and it shows in you, it's hard. Like, passion is contagious. I mean, you get the other people to come in and they see your passion for this idea and project that you've had for years and years and years. It's impossible to not get passionate about it and have all of those talents come together to make something really special. I personally, I think that Mewgenics is shaping up from what I've seen so far, and I say this as somebody that has 1,500 hours plus in The Binding of Isaac and has played, close to every other game that you've ever designed. It feels like Mewgenics is kind of that like magnum opus of your career at this point, where all of that previous knowledge comes into play here. Is that something that you agree with, or do you think that there's still that big one down the line?
Oh yeah, I can't even you saying that, like the idea of there being something bigger down the line scares the hell out of me. I don't know, I only have so many years on this planet. But I could say that, like, if I ended right after Mewgenics came out, I could feel good about it. Like, it's not like I'm going to retire or whatever else, but I do feel like that this is the culmination of everything that
Yeah.
I've been doing. And not only is it like the culmination of like all the stuff I learned, but like realistically, it actually is the core thematically and story wise of a majority of the IPs I've been working on. It brings them all together and answers so many questions that I propose in all these other games. And it's cool to have the ability to do that,
Yeah.
you know, like a
And
bookend.
people will be passionate
project.
about that piece of it. Like, they will love the lore and the deep dive and the connections to the other games. I feel like that's a huge thing with games right now. I'm always playing games that are trying to like reference and call out previous iterations that the developer has done, and people are always pointing out all the little references. And so can we expect a chunk of references to Isaac and Bumbo and Ether and everything else in Mewgenics?
I think just about everything is referenced in some way, but it's not so much just the reference. It's all a part of the world, and it it clears up. I think it answers questions. I don't know. You have to play it and kind of figure it out and see. I think a lot of it's one of those things like Isaac where I'll be happy with the amount of wrapping up I did,
Yeah.
but I'm never going to wrap everything up completely. There's going to be all these loose ends that are going to be like, wait, what about that? And what about that? Because that's what I think makes, art projects feel, or stories feel, more alive when you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Because it's the what ifs that let you continue to wonder.
What's your favorite movie of all time, Ed?
It's so hard to say because my mind goes straight to like Evil Dead, Dead Alive, the kind of like fun, gory movies that I grew up with that I loved so much as a kid. And then like the secondary ones would be like all the, art house films like El Topo or Santa Sangre or, Mulholland Drive or stuff like that, or
Interesting.
more recent stuff like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Hereditary.
Great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love all of those movies. I don't know if I have a favorite. One that came up in the AMA was Gummo. Somebody said that, like, I don't know if you've seen Gummo. It's worth seeing. It's Harmony Korine's best movie.
Okay.
Very, very unique experience. It's very special. And somebody pointed out that they felt like they saw similarities somehow in Mewgenics, and maybe there are.
Interesting.
But it's dark. It's dark, gritty, and real, and also doesn't take itself super seriously. And it's funny and depressing and awful.
Nice.
And Mewgenics, I can describe it the same way.
Yeah. I feel like that's an Edmund McMillen game, right?
So yeah, no, I mean, I grew up with a lot of movies, and I collect physical media. Like I collect movies, watch a lot of movies, put on a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I enjoy a lot of artistic mediums, and it's hard to say what my favorite movie is. It's just nothing comes right to the top outside of the three classics: Toxic Avenger, Evil Dead 2, and Dead Alive. Those are like my childhood, make me who I am type movies.
Gotcha. I always try to feel like a detective a little bit when I'm doing these, because I'm trying to, like, I see the games, I play the games, I talk to the person, I take what they say, and I'm trying to, like, connect the dots between the design of the game and the person, and be like, okay, how do we get from here over to here? And I feel like the media that you consume is often a like strong factor into games you like to play. So I was intrigued.
Sure, I guess so. It's funny because, like, the genres and themes of games that I usually like are usually, I don't really care, outside of the experience being unique and the gameplay being fun.
Yeah. Sounds good enough to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So here's a question, since we were talking kind of length that you've been working on Mewgenics, or at least thinking about it. Over the years, when you have an idea, you're middle of, we'll say, Afterbirth Plus development, and you have an idea for Mewgenics. What do you do with it? Is there somewhere you jot down those ideas? How do you keep track of the thoughts that keep you up at night?
Well, yeah, if they're keeping me up, I really have to write them down so my brain can feel like satiated in some way.
Gotcha.
Like I'm getting it out and I'm exploring it creatively, I guess. So I will. Nowadays it's mostly Notepad on my phone. I'll write down my ideas. And it's funny too, because sometimes enough time will have passed that I'll forget that I have written that down, and I'll write it down again.
Yep.
And then I'll find it. It's like, in the similarities are, it's almost identical, but I think I'm having an original idea, but I've already had that idea.
Love it.
just refining it. But from the most of the span of Mewgenics development, I've really tried to not think about any other project, so I could really keep my focus on this, so I could do it as much of a service as I can, because in the past I've screwed things up by doing multiple things. And it's one of the reasons why Bumbo's launch sucked so much, is because I was working on like 4 other projects at the time, and I couldn't put all my, and the same thing with Afterbirth Plus. It was exactly the same reason. Like, I thought that I could do this, and this, and I scrambled around to do it because I felt like once I had kids, my life was over, and I needed to do all these things as soon as possible. And it was bad. I mean, I used to do it. I used to be able to do it. I could juggle multiple projects at once, and I could do 4 at a time, and it was whatever. But when you're working on larger projects that aren't Flash games, it's a whole other monster. And so I try to not let my brain do that, because it's really easy for a brain like mine to jump onto the next exciting thing, and get very much pulled away and want to start a new project before another project is finished. And I know that's a trap for me, so I'm actively avoiding it and have been the whole time. So I would love to work on something like Camdrome or maybe Hitler's Must Die or something new after Mewgenics comes out, but I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if it'll be a whole new thing, or I don't know if it'll just be just Mewgenics for a while and nothing else. I don't know. And I'm not going to allow myself to think about it because it's a trap.
Yeah. How do you prevent that lure towards a new idea and new project?
The same way when a bad thought of somebody dying comes into my mind, I push it away and I replace it with another thought.
Okay.
So I've gotten really good at that over the years. I have pretty bad OCD, and my OCD revolves around really terrible thoughts, repeated. And I know how to push away and like divert my attention and think of something else and replace the thought. So I use the same technique.
Interesting.
Trying my best to control my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you've been working now on Mewgenics, like proper true development, 6 years.
Yeah, Tyler knows all the exact numbers. I think it's 6 years and a month or two.
Okay.
6, so less than 6 years is what I'm saying. But yeah, I think he's counting that from the first time we realized this is the game we're making. And then go from there, because there was some prototyping. Unless he's counting that, I don't really know. It's all a blur, man.
how many like iterations we talking here? Like how different is the game today from the very? Let's go. How different is it from today from 2011 when you're like first having ideas of it?
Yeah.
And then how different is it today from 6 years ago when you really started development?
Well, the end of 2011, 2012 prototype called 1000 Cats was supposed to be a game jam project, much like Isaac was. And it was in Flash with Tommy. And the whole idea was just a cat simulation hoarder house where you could just hoard furniture and hoard cats and breed cats. And then that was it. That was like, it was a toy. But the project seemed really cool, so I expanded it and started writing these NPCs characters in this world. And I wanted the NPCs to basically be mini games. So like you would take a cat that you bred, and then you would use it as an avatar in another game. It wasn't really significant of like stats and whatever else. It was just like these are your fun lives. Your life system is your house of cats, and you get to play these crappy games or whatever. That was the general idea for that, but that we didn't even come close to finishing that. And that ended. And when we picked it back up again, me and Tyler, the whole general idea of house, with cats and with a hoarder theme, the NPCs that existed before, the general vibe, the music that existed. But what do we use these cats as avatars for? That was the question. Like, where's the game in here? Like, what kind of game is this? And we didn't like go deep into prototyping. I don't think we spent more than a few weeks on any of the prototypes, but there was like a Castle Crashers, like side scrolling beat 'em up. There was a Pikmin like where you had a big alpha cat and a bunch of smaller cats.
Interesting.
And you send your kittens out. There was like a RTS kind of game. It was like a real-time version of what we have now, but more simplified. We prototyped that a little bit, and we kept coming back around to the turn-based stuff, but the turn-based RPG seemed like the most ambitiously stupid thing that we could do. Like a Castle Crashers game is like so simple and easy and just requires a bunch of art and animations. You don't have to like come up with these crazy synergies and a thousand items, it was just, that's it. But I think we both just knew that in order to do something really cool with a roguelike aspect, randomly generated, Isaac-y type thing. We really needed to do the turn-based strategy game. And so those are all the iterations of it before we finally settled on turn-based strategy game.
It's really cool. I always love whenever you would post on Twitter or whatnot the like old drawings and design notes of things. I would love, and I think everybody would love to see previous prototypes of games where that like lockdown on the design is not fully solidified yet, and it's like here's that alternate reality universe where Mewgenics was a Castle Crashers beat 'em up game. Like I think that's such a fun concept to see.
Well, Tyler has the stuff, like he's got the actual games.
That's so
like,
cool.
With his programmer art in it.
That's so cool.
So those all exist on a very, very, very basic level.
Yeah.
And I've got plenty of old sketches of random shit. I think I have Mewgenics as a Spelunky-like as well in my sketches.
Okay.
That was the last, because the whole time, like after it got canceled and Tommy canceled it, I was trying to like get him into the idea again because that's what I really wanted to work on. And he wanted to work on the iPhone version of Super Meat Boy. And I kept repitching the idea, trying to like get him excited about it, like by repackaging the idea. And one of them was this, like, I have a whole design doc for a Spelunky side-scrolling version of Mewgenics. Kind of funny.
You're speaking my language on that one.
Well, I mean, if I ever do something like that, it would be Hitler's Must Die, because Hitler's Must Die would work really, really well as a side-scrolling Spelunky-like shooter.
I love it. Yeah, it's cool. So I guess layout for me, proper inspirations for Mewgenics at this point, because we've name dropped like 50 different games now of things it could have been. What was kind of the vision for how it came to today's design?
I think the core that we both agreed on was Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. That was the game that both me and Tyler had a lot of experience with and actually played the fuck out of. I think secondary would be probably Pokemon, like old school Pokemon. And for me, the other aspects of the game were like Animal Crossing. The home stuff was very Animal Crossing. And that's kind of where that was the starting point. And then once people started pointing out, wow, this is kind of similar to XCOM, I was like, oh yeah, I love XCOM. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, so like there must have been some subconscious XCOM stuff. But a lot of the inspiration came from board games we were playing around the time. There's a game called Kingdom Death Monster, which is pretty awesome. And that was definitely a big inspiration. And Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is a tabletop RPG. A lot of the tables and stuff that they use, the skill checks and stuff. I pulled a lot of stuff for that in events, as well as just general D&D, which I was playing a lot of back then too. There's a little bit of Blood Bowl in there and some Warhammer. A lot of board game type stuff. But I think at its complete core, Magic the Gathering is probably the biggest inspiration. It's kind of its lifeblood. Like if you know Magic on a deep level, I think you can see it flowing through Mewgenics. Like this is as close to Magic the Gathering as me and Tyler are going to get. The systems, the cycles, the way, Richard Garfield has taught us how to make a sandboxy type game that allows people to explore it in different ways depending on the type of personality they have. Like, do you like causing chaos? Do you like min-maxing? Are you totally obsessive about stats? Are you trying to combo out? Are you going infinite? Are you just playing defensively? Are you playing aggressively? All of those things are Magic. That's why Magic is appealing to so many people, is because you can play different ways and make a deck that leans into the way you want to play. And that is exactly the same in Mewgenics. We allow you to play with the tools as much as you'd like and try to complement those play styles to the best of our ability and let people just go in and have fun exploring Isaac for the most part had that too. Like there's people who play Isaac just straight. There's people who break the game constantly. There's people who like just doing OP streaking. And there's a pretty good range of people there. And I think with Mewgenics, all those people find a place, except now there are people who are doing it for the memes or, playing just hyper aggressively or whatever.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up Magic because when I first played Legend of Bumbo, I saw a little bit of the Magic influence in Legend of Bumbo. But I can definitely see from the gameplay videos I've seen of Mewgenics, like that makes a lot of sense to hear that as an inspiration. And I think that what you said with having different play styles and kind of experimenting and finding things and exploring the game on your own speed. What I've seen from Mewgenics so far and what excites me about Mewgenics is the little interactions that seem just like logical when you're playing. It's little things like, hey, you set this cat on fire and now you blow on the cat and it increases the fire on it. Where it's like, yeah, that makes so much sense. And it's one of those things that you don't need to call it out. You don't need to explain it in big text on the screen that's going to do it. But it's one of those, like, you notice it, you explore it, you understand it, and that your kind of meta progression in the game, in a sense, is your own knowledge of how the game works. And I love that idea. How many of those little, like, interactions are there in Mewgenics?
Are you specifically talking about elements?
I just in general,
because those interactions go forever.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted you to say, right? That's what I wanted you to say is we'll be searching for them for years to come. But you'll always be.
I think you'll always be pleasantly surprised because there's a lot of like the mage is there because his mage one of the mage's archetypes is elements, and he experiments with a lot of different elements, but the key ones are lightning, fire, and ice. And so it forces the early game to see those interactions more often. And as you progress, there are more elements that are introduced that we haven't shown. And when they pop up and you've been like, wait, that has an elemental icon. There's a really fun, I forget what it's called, but maybe it's called Elemental Attunement, but it's a passive for the mage, which says whenever you use a spell or an ability that has an element tied to it, it imbues the element to your basic attack. So if I were to use Wall of Fire, it would then add fire element to my basic attack. If I were to use, Gust, then wind. And you can start stacking them all together and it's just completely chaotic. It's really interesting. But once you see that, and then you suddenly see a new icon appear, and you're like, wait a minute, that's an element?
Yeah.
What's that going to do? Like, what's that going to do with this, and this? And I think for the most part, me and Tyler did a lot of powwowing of like, well, logically, what would you think if I did this to grass? Or what if I did this to a rock? What would you assume would happen? And then once we agree on that and we just go with it and apply it to as much as we possibly can. But that's just the elemental stuff. Everything else is like, it gets real wacky. I mean, it's exactly the same as Magic. If you play Magic, a new set comes out and there's a card that says, whenever you remove a card from the graveyard, draw a card or whatever. And your mind goes to like, wait a minute, there's that card that exiles full graveyards for 1 mana or whatever. And you're like, I could draw like 7 cards off of that. Or I can make a deck that purposefully mills cards into a graveyard so I can draw all my cards. And oh wait, I know a card that makes me win the game if I draw a card and there's no cards in my deck. So I could mill myself, then exile my graveyard and draw all my deck and then win if I have this card in play. And it's very similar to Mewgenics, where you'll get a new toy. You'll find a rare item. So there's a lot of items in the game. There are about 950. And
is that all?
There's probably more. They're spread out across common, uncommon, rare, and very rare. And the rare and very rare items usually have a lot of crazy, unique draft around type synergies to them. Like there's like a necklace of fish that make all your familiars, or possibly all flies. They generate flies, but it like buffs your flies. But there's a bunch of different abilities across a bunch of different classes that summon different types of flies. So you can be like, wait a minute. Like, I know that class has that. I could just pop this on my guy, or at least take it on the adventure and hope to draft around it. Most of the time you'll find yourself doing that. Or if not, you pivot to something else. But there's just so many build arounds that once you kind of get a general idea of the different classes and what they have to offer and their archetypes, you're going to be up at night thinking about what you can do with this item that seemingly sucks.
Yeah.
Which was what I was trying to do a lot with Isaac, but in the end, people see those items that suck and they're not going to bother putting in the effort to make them work.
Yeah.
They're just going to go for the power.
Yeah, they see the item that sucks and they go, that sucks. And they just leave it there.
Yeah. That's it. They move on.
Yep.
In this, I think there's a lot more room to plan, which is really fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that turn-based as a whole just increases the amount of time you can think. And Isaac, you can't stop to be like, well, how will I utilize this as enemies are shooting at you? In the turn-based, you get the opportunity to, think about the item you just picked up that you want, this sucks, and you put it in your bag, and then you go into your next fight and you go, oh, hold on, maybe there's something here. So I can see it. Can you look, everybody left because of the pinball conversations. Can you tease one of the elementals that we don't know about?
I won't tease a new element, but I will point out that the cleric has an elemental icon on any spell that is considered holy.
Oh, a little holy element action. Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fun to introduce a new element or two in DLC and stuff like that in the future. It'll be neat to come up with those kind of interactions and stuff like that. But there's a handful of elements that are in there.
I like it. I've been religiously watching your gameplay videos that you're posting over on YouTube, which, by the way, I think that you have a career in being a Let's Player that you could go into sometime soon. You got a knack for it, honestly.
I don't know
scared.
What that means. I don't know. I really don't know. I think people like me. They like my. I think people like my videos because I'm an honest idiot who does impulsive, stupid stuff that make people feel like, I could play this game better than him.
Brother, I've made a living on YouTube being the guy that's shit at video games. So, like, I get it completely. I love, that's my favorite, and this is why I gravitate towards your games, because I'm definitely the kind of guy where I'm like, give me the shit item. Let me attempt to figure it out and pull off some incredible, stupid decision that I've made.
Oh, you're going to love Mewgenics.
I'm going to love Mewgenics. I'm going to love when I watched you spawn like 7 bombs on the screen and then laugh maniacally at the camera because it was a horrible decision, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Give me the bomb item. I'm gonna blow up myself many times.
I love it. Fun.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I don't, I'm flattered. I can't say it didn't, I was going to say like, it doesn't strike joy, but the thing is those Let's Plays did, I felt good. I've had a fun time making those, and the editor is of course incredible. So he made me look good.
They're very well edited.
They're very good. And, I don't know. People are like, why are you going to make more videos? And I think I'm like 1,000. I'm like 1,000 followers away from 100,000 followers.
There you go.
So it'll be really. I do want that award. So, like I don't have any, so I do want that. But I don't know what it'll take to do it. So maybe I'll definitely do. I've got one more that I finished. Maybe I'll do one more after that, and I don't know. Maybe I'll do some live YouTube things or something.
That'd be cool. I gotta tell you, I have the little plaque for 100,000.
Does it feel good?
It felt really good when I opened it the first time.
Now what does it feel like?
And then I kind of looked at it and I was like,
now it's sticky.
boy, I've been doing this shit for 13 years and this is what I got. This is what I got out of it. It's just like, I mean, it's way smaller in person than you see in like the background of, it's like it fits in my hand and I'm like, I don't know, like it feels good at first for sure, but it kind of just like sits behind me. I don't think I've thought of it for several years now. But
well, I don't have, like I said, I don't have a lot to show for. And people are like, well, didn't you get a bunch of awards with Isaac? Spoiler, no. No.
Well, I think Mewgenics is the one. You're gonna get the awards out of me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And if not, put like 4 more gameplay videos up, and then you can get the little crappy YouTube plaque, and you can put that on the wall.
That's honestly, that's what it is. It's like, when in doubt, I only got 1,000 more people to get up to subscribe.
Exactly.
And get the award.
Exactly.
That'll feel good.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't think my work's not for everybody, man.
Yeah,
I know.
I hear you.
I knew this going in. The Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy. It's crazy that they have the pull that they did,
and the longevity, right?
I'll blow your mind here. So I cut Florian in on a chunk of money, and I pay him every year for Binding of Isaac. And he pointed out for the past 6 years, so I don't look at sales. The only reason I ever look at a sale figure is to pay Florian. I don't know numbers. I don't know nothing. But I can tell you that he pointed out that the game has grown exponentially in the past 6 years, and that it is selling more now this year than it sold 7 years ago. It's like,
I believe it.
That's crazy.
I believe it wholeheartedly, and I'm going to tell you that the reason that I believe it is one day. Full disclosure to you, Ed, I haven't played Isaac in like 2 years on my channel. And every once in a while, I get that person that comes into my comments and goes, "When are you gonna play Isaac again?" And I'm like, after a while, I was like, brother, like just give it a break. The game's had its run. Like it's good. So then I went and I looked at Steam, and it's got more players today than it did 2 years ago. And I'm like, why am I not making more videos on it at this point? It's more popular today than it is back then. I think I missed my time.
Something happened. There's something happened in the past year that I've started to notice. All of the memes I used to see that had SpongeBob in them suddenly had Isaac.
Okay.
And I'm like, what?
Talk to me about Fortnite Isaac.
Fortnite Isaac?
How did this happen?
Well, it was pretty funny. There was basically a meme where people were like, Isaac and Fortnite, which I assume was as a joke. And after the fact, people said, no, it wasn't a joke, but I thought it was a joke. And it got enough traction because I would reply, I'd be like, yeah, sure, if they want to do it.
Yeah.
It got enough traction that a few news sites posted about it. Like, Edmund McMillen says he would want to put Isaac in Fortnite. And then eventually I got to somebody reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do that. And I was like, sure. Then it kind of went cold a little bit. And I'm like, were you guys serious about that?
Yeah.
And they weren't really responding. So, kind of like how I do, I kind of made a little steep and kind of fluffed it up even more and got some more news about it. I talked about wanting to do it again publicly. And it kind of shook the hornet's nest enough for them to reply. And then they seemed kind of annoyed. And I was like, well, if you guys are down, I'm down. And then they said, okay, here's the contract. And I noticed the contract said once you sign this contract until release, you cannot speak publicly about Isaac. and being in Fortnite. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just doing this
Yeah.
to shut me up.
Yeah.
And then I heard nothing for quite a while. And I was like, I was 100% sure that they got me. They totally got me. Like, they got me to shut the fuck up and stop bothering them about this. And then a couple months later, they were like, okay, we're ready to do this. We have like a date for you. And we want to put you in touch with the creative. And we're going to like all these, they have so many people working there. And
Oh yeah.
they're just like throwing me really nice looking models and cool ideas, like the reflection of Isaac in Mom's Knife wasn't my idea. It was their idea. It was a very good idea. Just a lot of like, wow, okay, yep, okay. I'm just approving everything.
Yeah.
I think I had like
Check all the boxes.
a few tweaks here and there for like Duke of Flies and stuff like that. And then that was it, and it launched. So I really thought it was nothing. It seemed like it started as a joke that turned into a what if maybe into I just got blacklisted from Epic.
Yeah. They have the guy with the sniper on top of the tower pointing right in. Yep.
To suddenly know this is a real thing and they're really cool and they did a really good job, and maybe there's more Isaac in the future. Who knows?
That's incredible.
But that's how it all went down. I just thought it was really funny and like a cool funny opportunity to do something funny.
Yeah.
And in the end, I kind of like came out of it like when I think a week or two after Isaac Beavis and Butthead went up, or maybe before, and people started like coupling them. So it was like Butthead with Isaac backpack. And I'm like, wow, this is nuts. like you guys don't understand. Like Beavis and Butthead was like a foundational thing for me. Like crazy inspirational. Like, and now my character is being put on the back of them in legally, like in a real way, and not like in a fan way. And that was kind of surreal. So that was a cool little like bucket list thing that I had no idea would even be a thing until I saw it. So yeah, it's an anomaly. It's a very weird situation to be in. Especially because I think like where Isaac is probably the most obscure, if not one of the most obscure things that you can put on your body in Fortnite. But
I would imagine so.
Definitely cool thing to do, and I don't regret it in the slightest.
Yeah, when I saw that news post, it was very similar to when you launched Four Souls Requiem, and it was all of a sudden we have, Slay the Spire characters and Four Souls and Spelunky characters and Four Souls. And I was like, this is sick. All the games coming together. This is awesome. And then I saw Isaac and Fortnite. I was like, sure, man, let's do it. I'm all in. Let's do it.
I mean, this is
That's
the
cool.
New pop culture is the mashup of every IP known to man.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the ride.
Any weird IP references in Mewgenics?
I mean, probably just like a bunch of subconscious stuff. I think a few like little nods here and there that I've shown of stuff like Street Trash. There's like a bottle of Viper. There's just like a bunch of like, the usual, just like in Isaac, little nods to horror movies and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Nice. Back to Mewgenics for just a tiny bit here, because I want to talk about one of the things that I loved seeing in one of your videos was the bird migration weather event.
That's a rare event.
I thought that was such a cool idea, and I feel like we haven't touched on like events and how valuable they can be in a game like this. And I know that you've mentioned there's like over 100 different events, and each one has differing outcomes. So it's the skill checks that are happening, and then there's like critical failure, success, critical success. So 100 plus different events, 4 different outcomes per option in the event. Like, how do you manage the scale of something like that?
It was actually pretty difficult to manage, because I just kind of, again, flew by the seat of my pants, came up with a bunch of these designs, threw them out there. I think Tyler did half, and then we got a programmer, Graham, who came in and helped with the last half. And just this week, I finished up. So I had to do a pass over all of the events. All of the events are implemented except one, which Vin needs to help with doing because it requires an item that needs to be designed. And it's stuff that I can't do. So I did end up designing a lot of items in the game. I mean, I designed a majority, if not all of the items in the game, but actually implementing them, I did not do. And at the end of development, it was like, well, shit, there are 250 items that still need to be made. And Tyler's like, well, you better learn to do it because I'm sure as hell not going to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn to do it. And basically just utilizing the Taco Bell formula of lettuce, cheese, beef, and wrapped in a different way. I'm able to go through any existing mechanics in the game and copy and paste things into existence. And I was able to do that for a good couple hundred of items, which was really nice to be able to have the control of doing. But if a mechanic doesn't exist in the game, I cannot implement it because I have no idea what I'm doing outside of copy and paste. So Vin has come in and he's been there to implement the more difficult and unique items. And there's one specific item that is very unique that needs to be implemented to finish the final event. But I didn't even know that event wasn't in the game because I had never gone through the event files. And that's what I did. I went through every single event file and made sure everything was working, tested, and giving the appropriate stuff. And in going through them, I realized that a majority of these events were made 4 years ago. And, you know, they yield something like whenever you, like there's an event called, I don't remember what it's called. It's a bunch of eyes that are watching you from an alleyway. And you can interact with the eyes in different ways. And depending on what you do, they might be different things. And like, oh, it's revealed they're not eyes. They're actually coins that are glimmering in the darkness, stuff like that. And it would be like, okay, well, if it's coins, then just give between 5 and 10 coins. Or if you bash the eyeballs, then you get an item called eyeball, which you can eat. I was like, well, I know that there are 950 plus items in this game now, and I know them pretty well. So what I was doing was developing new pools. So in this case, if it would have generated an eyeball for you to eat, it instead goes and looks at a pool of all the items that are eyeball related that exist in the game and finds one of them that is most appropriate. Or if it generates coins, yes, it can generate basic coins, but then it could also have a 50-50 chance within that result to look through everything coin related in the game, which are many things. And then I make a pool of that and then it pulls from the pool. So it's a lot of, I made it a lot thicker, more vast and more unique. There's still a lot of one-offs with the rare stuff. So like you can only get this item from critically hitting this thing in an event because those are really fun and unique. But the general pools, I really like quadrupled their size in every way, shape, or form, which was very fun to go through and really relearn all the events that I had originally written and see how they work mechanically in game.
So how many of those pools kind of are there at this point? Because I know that Isaac had like 25 different item pools of sort. Okay, sure. Give me the number.
Let's see.
Is this just like a JSON file that you have them all sitting in? Or?
It's a GONG file.
GONG file.
GON, gone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Without spoilers, I'll rat, bone, cat, dead cat, bone weapon, bone armor, cat hide, cat armor, cat hide, rotten, flesh, unique, parasite, sludge, grass, eye,
that's
cursed,
a lot.
barb, recycled, demonic, maggot, blood, altar, can. I'm not even a quarter of the way through the list.
Yeah. I think we're good here. I think we're good. A lot is the answer.
So yeah, a lot of pools that are thematically fitting the event in question.
Yeah, that's cool.
Events really are, I think they're the most confusing aspect of the game for people because a lot of people are like, well, I don't understand why I wouldn't always just pick the best result. And of course, I mean, for the most part, that's exactly what you want to do. Yeah, but it's never a guarantee that you're going to succeed, even though the odds are in your favor. It's still a roll of this hidden dice behind the scenes to see what you will get. And the outcome isn't, you're not really trying to game it. It's just the experience.
Yeah.
It's just like you started a run and and you got your whole team decked out with fire resistant armor, and your mage is custom built to light the fuck out of the world, right? You're ready. And then you jump in and it rains. It starts to rain.
Yeah.
That's just life. Like, and the funny thing is there are enemies that have to deal with this shit too. Like if it's raining and you fight the radical rat, all of his bombs go out when he throws them. So he has to come up with a different way to fight you.
Does he have a different way to fight?
Oh yeah. There's quite a few interesting little bits and pieces in there that respond to weather events and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, the global weather events are really unique, and I don't even think we count them in the 100 of events. Those are just, there's a shitload of them, and they just I think it's a fairly high probability, maybe like 1 in 3 chance each time you enter a chapter that one of those events might spawn weather, but it's not really weather. It's just what we call it. Yeah, like the bird migration that you mentioned is considered a weather. We called it a weather event, but it is just, I think we call it a happening. I don't know, global event, whatever we end up calling it.
Yeah. No, I love stuff like that. Like, Ed, I play a lot of games, right? And I play a lot of roguelikes, and a lot of roguelikes love to slap. It's like the magic keyword is replayable, right? It's like how do you make a replayable game? And there's a lot of roguelikes that think that replayable just means, well, there's hundreds of items. And it's like, well, items are nice. Like they help, but that's not what makes a game replayable, you know, and replayability.
I mean, fucking Donkey Kong is replayable.
Exactly. But it's like, give me the different experience every time I go into a run. Give me those random events where I'm experiencing something different. I actually have a question about the events with the being able to choose how you want to do it. Are there times where you may want to fail an event? Like if you can determine that, hey, if I fail this event, I got this thing last time. Like, I guess, how punished are you for failures? Do you sometimes get just like crappy things from them?
It's a good question. It's a question that's come up, and it's a question that was rattling around my brain while I was going through these events. So there are a handful of events that will yield bad results, but within those bad results comes something like a unique parasite that only exists there that could be used for something else.
Yeah.
So there are possible reasons to explore the negative. But the thing is it's just going to happen sometimes. Yeah. Like, you're going to feel like, well, dude, my luck's super high and I'm like way over the threshold of 5, and I'm going to just try and see if I can crit this thing. And it turns out you've critically failed. I mean, anybody who's played D&D knows that you can roll a 1 at any time in the game.
Yep.
And it's usually bad news. and that's what happens in this game. And really this is a game about like perseverance and picking up and doing the best with what you have, and accepting that this is life. Shit happens. Yep. You know, it's not a guarantee that everything's going to be always super easy. And I think the beauty of the game is really working around those negative conditions and realizing that, like, you know, just because my cat is blind doesn't mean it's over. Like, with this blindness comes great insight and psychic ability. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a silver lining to the downsides to things in this game. And I think that that's really cool because it lets you pivot in ways where the underdog can become total saves the day type hero in the end, where you're like, oh, this fucking loser who couldn't do a goddamn thing throughout this game, you know, got its paws burnt off in a horrible fire, but guess what? Now it can't be burned anymore, and we're fighting the fire boss. So here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
It's cool.
Yeah. I love it. I wanted to bring up a quote that you said in Indie Game the Movie. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Indie Game the Movie because there's 1,000 different podcasts and talks that you've done talking about it. But you brought up a quote that I thought was interesting, where Super Meat Boy was the kind of game that didn't alienate anybody. And I think that that's an interesting kind of thought, because I feel like you towed the line a little on that style with your games. Like Binding of Isaac is the kind of game that can very easily alienate somebody.
Sure.
How do you balance towing that line between games? And do you think that Mewgenics, what side of the line is Mewgenics on for that idea of alienation?
Well, definitely with comfort and a fan base for sure. Like I feel like I can take a bigger risk and do riskier things, and I feel like the people who care want me to push myself and push them out of their comfort zones. And Mewgenics, I think Mewgenics is a lot different than my other games in that I'm trying to be very funny in a very dark way.
Yeah.
And I the response has been good. There's been a few people who really like my sense of humor and get it and really enjoy it. A few people who don't at all, and it'll say that. Like we've had some testers saying like, well, the humor is not my cup of tea, but I really like the game. It's fine, whatever.
Yep.
But I push it far in this, and I hope people appreciate it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think that it's very funny and very awful and very real and interesting. And, people like to shit on the name.
It's a controversial name, but it catches the eye. You gotta say that.
I think it really sums it up really well, perfectly, almost, in the ways that people don't like. And there's so much more there than I think people are realizing, and not realizing that not only am I in on this joke, but you are also in on this joke, and everyone in society is in on this joke that I'm making.
Yeah.
And it's funny and interesting. The deeper you go, without, explaining my poetry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you can see the statement that's being made, and I think that there's elegance to leaving it at that.
But that said, there was a line, and I found the line pretty early on. Because early in the game, one of the aspects of the life sim aspect of this game was, okay, well, obviously your cats have sex and they get pregnant, and then they birth cats, and then they can birth twins or whatever else. And in the original design, on paper, stillbirths were a thing. And I thought, oh, that's really dark, and that'll be interesting to play with. And then we started to like kind of almost implement it, and it was like, wow, this feels really bad. Like, this isn't funny, and it's not gonna be entertaining.
It's also like not fun from a gameplay perspective.
No, like no one wants that. No, what's the point of me showing that?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's just it's equal to them not having a baby. So why show that?
Yeah,
and it's that's the line. Like that's the line that we didn't cross. We never want you to be cruel to the animals. You can't beat the animals up. You can't harm the animals like that. The animals can harm each other, but we don't want you harming these animals, and we don't want, dead kittens everywhere.
Yeah. It's interesting that that's even a line that could be said in a podcast in 2025.
There's so many more. There's so many more lines. So many like weird lines that we didn't realize that we were inadvertently like crossing. Like, like humanoid cats, like cats with mutations enough to look human, then mating with a cat. Like that's kind of a no-no, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
It's like you never would have thought that we would have to even think about these sort of things too.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But when you make a game that's very no holds barred, stuff comes up, and you deal with it as you go.
Yeah. Do you think there's things that will happen on release that I'm going to say this, and the answer is like definitely yes, but things that will happen on release that you didn't foresee in testing?
My hope is that.
Okay.
I mean, I know for a fact that it's yes, because
yeah.
every single time we tested the game, like, I don't know if you saw, so recently we got contacted by this really cool company. It's a PR company who was like, we want to work with you. And it wasn't like PR companies contact me all the time and they're like, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
This was like a custom email that very much the people involved knew my work really well. And it seemed very genuine. Like, we just want to help out because we really believe in the project. And it turns out that they're great.
Nice.
And we've been working with them for a few months, and they got this big PR thing overseas where they got all the top publications for video games outside of the US that we did not have reach to. And we actually demoed the game on Discord to like 12 different outlets or whatever. And then they just the other day released a shitload of previews, and they were all glowingly positive and amazing. But the coolest part of the whole thing was that we had a Discord with all these people talking to each other, and they were talking to each other about the game. And it was like, we got to see a soft release of the game, and the things that they were talking about were bonkers. And somebody said, I just ate a giant poop, got a disorder called scatological, which made my cat, first thing that they do is they walk towards the closest poop, and then they eat it, and then they heal equal to like whatever. And there is a boss called the Flushmaster, which is a hybrid. It's a blob, but it is also a poop because there's a little poop controlling this water elemental.
Okay.
So it has the tag poop. And he said his cat walked straight over to it and ate it. And we didn't know that happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, all the things are there that could happen, which is why we made them. But I've never experienced that. And then I'm not going to spoil. Well, they kind of spoiled it, but there were other things. And somebody retorted with like, oh yeah, have you ever seen what that boss looks like when it's this weather? And then it was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just like, and those people were the glowingest, like the people that really dove in and started comparing stories. It's a really actually a hard sell, much in the same way that Isaac was. So when Isaac came out, it was a hard sell. No one understood, even though Spelunky had some traction. This was before when it came out on Xbox Live. But if you were into indie games and you played Spelunky, you knew that, you know, remixes of the roguelike genre existed, and that's what The Binding of Isaac was.
Yep.
But a lot of places, even like IGN and stuff, that did not give it good reviews, Isaac, were just like, oh, it's just, you know, remix of The Legend of Zelda. It's just a top-down shooter. And that's all it was, because that's, for the most part, a lot of people who played the game and didn't replay it enough to understand that the goal was to make an infinitely replayable game.
Yeah.
Didn't understand that. And I think that is an element of Mewgenics that people see it on paper and like understand that our goal is to make a game where everyone's run is completely unique. Everyone's save is completely unique. Like, you shouldn't have the exact same experience as somebody else. And that's hard to understand. I think it's hard to explain without somebody experiencing it themselves. And for the people where it clicks that have previewed the game, they go crazy.
Yep.
And then the other people who kind of just see it like, oh, I died a few times in it and it was kind of difficult. They're like, oh, it's a charming game, turn-based strategy game. That's kind of what it is. So that's kind of what I expect on launch, is that there'll be some publications who see it, who can see it for what it is, big picture wise, and really, really like it. And then there might be other people who just kind of see it as, oh, it's just another turn-based strategy game with randomization.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the roguelike genre, I feel like over the last, I'll call it 5 years, has really exploded. Like there was a lull for a while, and I say roguelike as in the modern roguelike, not the Berlin definition, give me an ASCII
Yeah.
game nonsense that
Randomly generated
Yeah,
game meant to be
exactly.
replayed infinitely.
Yep, exactly. And there's people that don't get it still, and I get it. I mean, I can understand people that are like, why do I want to keep on losing this game over and over again? And it's like, well, because eventually you win, and it feels really good when you finally win.
Yeah.
But some people don't vibe with that, and that's okay. But I feel like with Mewgenics, there's the kind of you mentioned life sim as a good word for it. I think that there's going to be a draw for that side of the game, that a lot of people are going to be sucked into the idea of like forming these relationships with the cats over time, and collecting your items to bring back and outfit them to fuel your future runs. And it turns into like almost a bit of an extraction game in that regard. I feel like it's hitting a lot of subgenres that are very flashy today.
It's kind of shown in testing that people get into that, and they get into the storytelling aspect of the whole experience, which is really neat. And we try to complement that as much as possible. And I have a feeling that once the game comes out and we kind of really see what people like about all these different aspects, then we can update the game and kind of pad those things out a bit more so they're even more enjoyable.
Yeah.
The funny thing is the we have one tester. His name is Florian Himsel, and he is probably maybe the second. So one person has 100% of the game, and that's actually Alex Zombolis. He works for Nicholas, and he's basically the public face of the community of Isaac at this point when it comes to public relations and stuff like that. He's a really good guy, and he's the first person to ever 100% the game, and he has proof of it and everything. And he spent like 500 plus hours doing so. Florian is second. He's close. He's getting closer every day, but he hyper focuses on breeding. He is so into the genetics of this game and is constantly like, he's one of the topics of conversation recently. And I think it was for performance, was how many cats on average are in your house at a time. And I'm like, well, I think like maybe 28. I like to keep it about that, right?
Yeah.
And other people are trying to like, I think more close to 50. And then Florian's like, 400. And then we're like, huh? He's like, between 2 and 400. And we're like, what? And he shows a picture of his house, and it's literally full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cats. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like he has to do a run every single day in order to feed his family.
That is crazy. That is
but
crazy.
He's so deep on it, and his cats are the most astoundingly OP cats that I've seen.
Yeah.
And they don't resemble cats in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, it's really cool to see that stuff. Like, and I'm sure that there's going to be many other ways people play this game, and I hope to complement those aspects as much as we possibly can, now and in the future.
Definitely. So, in wrapping up here, when did the stress really kick in for Mewgenics?
The stress?
Yeah. Has it kicked in? I'm assuming it's kicked in. I'm boldly assuming that the stress is
no. There's I'm not feeling a lot of stress. I felt stress the night before we did the press thing. Okay. And that was like the first time I felt stress that was tied to this game. I feel a lot of excitement sometimes.
It can disguise itself as stress.
Sure. I mean, I feel more honestly, the stress that comes from this comes from the fact that my wife has been messaging me for the past 20 minutes asking when are we going to go for a walk.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have two children in the mix here, right? And I work from home and my kids are homeschooled, so they're always around, and they always see me as this guy who's just going into his office and closing the door. Yeah. The stress in my life comes from attempting to balance this insane crunch of finishing this game. Because realistically, it needs to be done by January 10th in order to give reviewers enough time with the game to give it a realistic review, since it's so big.
Yeah.
So we have to finish this thing in a month. and then polish until release. But that's a large amount of crunch, and it's all happening during the holiday season.
Yeah.
And any stress that I feel is 100% from feeling like a bad father and having to deal with my wife losing her mind because she has to deal with 2 extremely hyperactive kids that are just idling, or attempting to do homeschool work with them while I'm doing a live interview while they're screaming in the background.
Yeah.
That's where my stress
is hard. That's a difficult balance. I mean, any kind of work-life balance can be a little tricky. But to add in kids,
it'll be over soon. It's funny because you talked about Indie Game the movie, and you were saying how you don't want to ask me questions about that. But the interesting thing is they've been here. They've been visiting for the past couple months.
Interesting.
And coming periodically to film. And I feel like the focal point of the story may be exactly what I was talking about. Because they're filming a lot of, it's a lot of history stuff, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they'll be here for launch and maybe some post-launch stuff, and we'll figure out what the hell's going on there. But
cool.
I think originally they were like, oh, maybe a sequel, because they've come down many times. They filmed the launch of The End Is Nigh, some of the development of that. They came down after Binding of Isaac wrapped up and interviewed me about that sort of stuff too. So they've got like 10 years of interviews over a long span of time. And I don't know if they're going to do something with that or what, but
your relationship
it's happening
with
again.
them,
it's happening again.
Yeah. Your relationship with them seems good then.
Well, they're really cool. They're really cool, creative people. And they also have kids, and their kids are maybe difficult in similar ways. So I think they can relate to our situation, and maybe that's something worth filming and talking about. I don't know.
I think it's important insight. It's the behind the scenes that people like to see.
Sure.
Insight into the brain. Well, Ed, appreciate the time today. I mean, it's been absolutely awesome to talk about your next really probably year to 2 years of chaos that's going to ensue on Mewgenics launch. I mean, I can't imagine it not being a hit with everything that is going into it. I mean, I know that it's a day one, get my hands on it release for me, and there's thousands of other creators that are going to be chomping at the bit to make content on this game.
Well, and I super appreciate that. I mean, this is definitely a game. I mean, it really is. It's like kind of the perfect game to stream.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But I hope that's clear. Like, I appreciate every person who's ever streamed anything that I've ever worked on. I've appreciated everyone who's posted or mentioned anything I've worked on or anything along those lines. It's greatly appreciated, and I'm including you in this. I appreciate you asking me to come and talk about this nonsense.
Always.
The reality is, I've shown the game. That is what it is, and that's what you're going to get. I'm not hiding anything. There's no mystery here. Like there you go. If you like anything that I've shown, I think you'll really love the game because it's just a better, more vast version of that.
Which is exciting, because I feel like that we haven't even seen. We're just on the surface of what it is, and to know that there's more beyond that is even more exciting. So
there's some fun stuff down there,
and we'll explore it. So February 10th is the release of Mewgenics.
Yep.
And I saw that there's some rumoring about a potential console release at some point after the fact.
Oh, it'll definitely be. I have a feeling it'll probably lean towards Switch too. I don't know what else is viable. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
man. Like, ever since like the Steam stuff got announced, I'm just like, well, I'm kind of done with consoles outside of Nintendo. Like, what's the point? What's the point after that? Like, why wouldn't I just always have my vast library of PC games on my TV? Like, why wouldn't I do that?
Yep.
So it's kind of a no-brainer, and I feel like I can't be the only one who thinks that. So Switch is definitely going to be the focal point, and then we'll kind of figure out where we're at after that. I mean, obviously Steam Deck, it's going to launch 100% compatible. We've got it. I think there was like one major issue, which was a font size. It's like font size has to be a certain amount of pixels high, and we just had to make a few things a little larger. And I think we'll get approval probably next week. And it plays really well with a controller, so it plays really well with on deck.
Nice. I'm itching to get my hands on it, man. I'm itching. Time can't go fast enough at this point.
I'll get you a copy. Maybe a day or two before release. I don't know how we should do it or what, but I don't know what the fuck the strategy is there. Like, realistically, I feel like it makes more sense for people to be streaming it at launch, right?
Yeah, it's always confusing because I have developers that'll reach out and be like, "We really want you to cover it a week before," and I'm like, "Really? That's when you want it? When no one can buy the game?" Like that feels kind of silly.
As a player, like I get mad when people tweet, hey, they say, "Hey, my game launched today" in a tweet, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is the link?"
Yep.
Why isn't it's behind the cut? Like, fuck you. Put the link in
don't get me started.
One click, not two.
The amount of emails I get that are like, "Hey Alexa, really love your content. Check out my game," and then they just have like the text name of the game and then no link, and I'm like, "Brother, you want me to start go searching this now?" Like, drives me crazy.
And again, if I'm lazy enough that bothers me, I feel like the game needs to be out and there needs to be a button.
Yes,
and that's it. So
yes,
I don't think before launch is going to work, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be streaming it before launch, that's for sure.
And that will raise some hype.
I'll be getting my plaque.
400 cats in your house, prepping for the launch. Ed, it's been great, brother. Appreciate the time, and we'll circle back sometime next year and see how launch went.
Cool, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yep, appreciate it, man. See ya. So that's a wrap on episode 1 of the Indie Piece podcast. Thank you so much for being here and listening today. You can check out Mewgenics. I'll have a link in the podcast description, so you can go and you can wishlist it on Steam. Releases February 10th. You can hop in. You can see all the things that we've been talking about for the past 2 hours. Bit of a long one today, but it was a good one for sure. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you next time for some more great conversations and fun vibes. See you later. Bye-bye.